I'll probably have to say this about, 20 times as people come in and jump in the channel and whatnot, but today, we're gonna take out by email, reply to my blog, and his name is Dustin, and he sends me a very grindy, very slow, very control-y Esper control list. And, I love it when people reach out to me and want me to play their deck, so we're gonna see if we can get 10 games in with it. I don't know if it'll make it 10 games, but we'll give it a shot. That was me just checking if the channel's up. It is. How about that? This will be a nice little break from all the ramp I've been playing and the Jund control lists in preparation for the next tournament round, where I have a matchup against a kind of a steal and sack deck. So, if anybody thought that, using traitorous instincts and act of treason on Eldrazi was the way to stop them, then you are in agreement with my opponent for this match, because my Eldrazi ramp deck will be taken on a deck with 4 active treason and 4 traitorous instinct. So we'll see how that goes. But that's another day. This is today, and we're gonna play some Esper control. Like I said, we'll try to get through 10 games. I don't know if we'll make it through 10 games, but we'll see what happens. Number 1. Alright. We'll put it to the test. No black, but 3 playables. I think we keep a hand like this. Really gonna need that black source now. There's only 6 black cards in the deck. 3 of them are double black. And might be playing a ramp deck, although usually doesn't pay to speculate. We'll just get that in play. If we are playing a ramp deck, we are very low on what we need here. No spell shrivels. The deck has 3 spell shrivels and 2 scatter to the winds. The other counters in it are horribly awry. I think that's really low for a deck in a ramp field. I think that's really low. It is, however, super draw heavy. It's got 4 Epiphanies, even though it only has Foundry of the Consuls to keep from the discarding. It's more of a filterer than a card drawer, but it's got 4 Epiphanies and 4 Inspirations. So he really wants to be drawing 2 on every end step. Hello. Would really use a counter here. And, yeah, not gonna happen. So, there are 3 Feldor Cubs. There were 4. I put in a Solemn Offering as well, which I think is actually a good idea. But, we don't want to complicity. I think we can safely pitch this Languish. We can probably even safer to pitch this, although this can take out Nissa. This can take out a Fatty. This can take out Gaia's Revenge. This might be needed to make those effective. I'm actually thinking disregard. Yeah. Not gonna bank on the one of Nissa showing up, and I want my lands. Since, I mean, if he had Acid Moss, he would have cast it, but still might be a lot of lands. Hello, Taster. You a reader or something? You're calling me by name. I don't know if we've had a lot of interaction. You're probably a reader. So, we still haven't picked up counter magic. He's going to start making Scions. That is a big problem for this deck. I wonder if he's playing my list. We'll see if there are any cards that I don't run. One thing's for sure, any deck that I take out and play a lot should be able to handle ramp decks. And I just don't think that 5 counter spells are going to be close to enough. There's an offering. That's good. He's tapping out. But we are way behind the 8 ball. We're gonna have to hope his last 3 cards aren't of any consequence, because we're gonna cut off his From Beyond. He's probably not wrong for tapping his tapping mana the way that he did there, and leaving it exposed. If we could have removed it, we probably would have last turn. We just kind of got lucky and drew it. It's usually a gamble that's, you know, that you can take. It'd be a good turn for a Guy's Revenge. If he's passing the turn, he might still have Ulamog, which, that'll be really brutal. I keep on keeping this 1 black out there to try to bait him into targeting with Moss. I think we're past that point now. We're not terribly off. Flare can answer several things. Okay, well, I don't run that card. Let's see if he has any lands that are worth getting. He also runs Zendikar's Royal. Nissa, I believe, is now going to the bottom. Let me read that again to be sure. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order, so that's good to know. Until he shuffles again or casts another ramp spell, the Nissa is somewhere near the bottom. Yeah, I had a feeling that there would be a Rolling Thunder pretty soon. 10 is a lot. Really need to get to one of those 5 counter spells in the deck. We're going to go ahead and get these out there. There are 3 more Artificer's Epiphanies that can take advantage of them. And may as well start... Well, hey, that's why we do it that way. Let's start wearing on him a little bit. We also need to make sure he can't... we need to be looking for more planes. We're definitely not discarding anything that can get us a white source, because another Moss can put us in a tough spot. I'm guessing he might have Green Warden or something. A renewal. We want to try to draw cards and see if there's a way to stop that. I don't think so. He obviously just top-decked that, or he would have cast it last turn and used the mana with the Thunder this turn. So, we know his hand doesn't have a lot going. It might have another Rolling Thunder, which would explain the way he cast the last one. There's a Radiant... Well, the deck's been shuffled now, so Nissa and that Radiant Flames are now anywhere in the deck. And I was bringing that up because I'm wondering if I should run out of Feldar Cub. But at this point, we're just not doing anything. We'd have to discard anyway, so we'll get Cubber out there. We are taking down Celestial Flare if he pulls a Revenge off now, but I think that's one of those gambles. You just kind of take it. Twin Bolt my face. Okay. So there's another Rolling Thunder. How much has he got it for? Oh, a Blaze. Well, let me see. None of this can instant speed interact with that either. So, 1 to the bad for this deck. Definitely... I mean, no counters at all, only 5 in the deck, so I think that really shown. And I'll be interested to see how many times in trying this deck out we say not enough counter spells. So anybody just jumping in, I received an email deck list from an Esper Control fan named Dustin, and we're giving his deck a spin. If we can get through about 10 games, I'll write an article on it or something like that for the blog. So it's not my deck. It's a very draw-go-y Esper deck, and I think it does have some holes, but you know, you play it and you really figure out what those holes are, and one of them, for sure could have used a counterspell last game. The blue-white control, which is my favorite draw-go control at the moment, has quite a few counterspells. It's got 4 spell shrivels, it's got 2 calculated dismissals, which I still can't believe I'm running, but they're actually doing really good. And it's got 2 scatters, and it also has, I believe, 3 Bone to Ash, which wouldn't necessarily help us in that game. And it's got Horribly Awry, so it's countering everything. There's our counterspells, so I think we keep this hand. Although, being on the draw, he could get 2 creatures onto the board if he goes turn 1 critter, turn 2 critter, and we could be in hot water. Hello, Hakeem. Good evening. A Twitch superstar, right. I'll have to get over my self-consciousness about talking onto this microphone. Maybe someday I'll even turn on that camera, but it will not be this day. That reminds me, I have to check how many followers I have sometime when I remember. I never remember to check. Gemini keeps on talking about he's gained so many followers since the tournament started, and I'm like, I should check that. I never remember to check. Anyway, appreciate whatever followers should choose to hang out with me. So, thank you. Okay, if we're up against an elf deck, this is gonna be a really long game for him. Because he did not get out in front. Now, if we had seen like Thornbow into Dwinen's Elite, we would have just basically lost, I think. Hakeem, you're only saying that because I saw your face. Nothing we can do about that one. Yes, face cam is not important for Hakeem's streaming numbers. Now me, you know, I'll have to put this this thing of beauty through makeup and make sure my hair is all styled, and then we'll push those follower numbers up, I'm sure. All right, Infernal Scarring on a Vine Breeder. Let's see how far that gets us. Okay, Guardian of Tufton. Oh man. If I only had one Horribly Awry, I would probably Spell Shrivel, because Horribly Awry actually plays well with Spell Shrivel. Late in the game when they play around a Spell Shrivel, they're often casting something cheap and leaving 4 mana up, and it plays into a Horribly Awry. It's kind of a... It's not an obvious synergy, but it works. That'll take care of Infernal Scarring, and we get to leave Awry up, so, yep. Sacrificial Cubber, get to work. Now, when to do something like sack a cub is always kind of subjective. We're gonna see if he wants to do anything about it. We're gonna see if he attacks into it, but once he's out there, you can do it whenever you want to in response to anything. Also, you know, would we just trade the Cub for the Vine Breeder and the Scarring? We probably would, because whatever card he draws is probably walking into a counterspell. Hello, Jagged Scar. I deny you. You shall not pass. Yeah, see, Hakeem, you know, you gotta do some work and doll up a little bit for the Twitch folk, for the camera. You know. Hakeem, very much the Twitch superstar in Magic Duels, in my opinion. I don't think I've seen anybody else in the 40, 50 counts. Just when they decide to show up and mess around. Do I care about you? Yeah, well, no, I do not. It can attack through my cub, and if it targets my cub, I can sack in response, basically getting a 2-for-1 off my cub. Nah, you can have that. Not to mention, we're probably drawing for a sweeper here. One thing you can do is activate the Vine Breeder after discarding to that thing. Combo. But if we draw, like, just about any of the good stuff out of our deck, that won't be a concern. We'll roll it like this. What you gonna do, janky elves? What's next? You gonna fog? Fog would be so tight right now. Nope, he's got something better than that. A Battlefront Crew Shock. Wow. Oh, Spell Shrivel. You've countered Ulamogs. You've countered the best this game has to offer, and now you shall go counter this thing. This beast. Yep. Duels. It's an elf deck standard right there, the Kushak. Kushak. Sounds Klingon. There's gotta be a Klingon, Kushak has to be a word in Klingon that means something. It's just too perfect. Kushak. Sean Connery could say it well. Yeah, see, you still got nothing. You can't get at this cub. This cub is just shutting down his whole game. What do I do? What do I do? He's just got this fierce, loyal cub. Look at him, he's got all these skulls. He's got all this stuff going on. Is he jumping off a cliff? He's jumping off a cliff. Yeah, that's how bad he wants that enchantment. Alrighty. Suicidal cub. Part of me says jam Disciple, get the game over with, but we're going to be patient because that's what a control deck should be, and I would be teaching you guys bad manners if I just jammed a Disciple right here. Not bad manners, but how about just bad habits? There's nothing to be gained by just shoving it out there. There's plenty to be gained by waiting. For one thing, he still has cards in his hand that he hasn't cast yet that we can counter, and if he doesn't cast them, we can keep building resources so that when we do cast Disciple, we have more mana and more resources. Uh-oh. Here comes the combo. He's coming for me. Nope. Nope. Hold up. Hold up. Let's not get crazy. Okay. Well, we're gonna do it. Aren't we? What do we do? Oh! Bye-bye, Thornbow. Okay. Down with your scarring. So, we're gonna play for the maximum blowout here, because I think he's gonna attack with a Vine Breeder. And if he's timing his pump wrong... Let's see what he does. I want him to pump with his Vine Breeder. So in order to induce that, I'm going to block with Shambling Vent. I think I can do that in a way that leaves mana open for a counter or for a Celestial Flare. If he spends his mana pumping the Vine Breeder, I can Celestial Flare the Vine Breeder. If he doesn't and casts something second main, I can cast the counter. And that is the right way to tap. You gonna pump? You gonna pump, dude? Nah. Nah. We'll just let that happen. Duels. It's too bad. That first game was a really good opponent. We got stepped on a little bit. And now our second game, we've got this going on. Convincing Gemini to buy a mic. Yeah, you know, it's a personal choice there. I have a feeling Gemini has all the means necessary and none of the desire. But I don't know if you want to hear that guy talk. I haven't heard him talk. Have you? Might not be a pleasurable experience. Who knows? And I'm not trying to put him down at all. I'm not making assumptions. I'm just saying, careful what you wish for. Gemini's interesting, though. He's one of those players I feel I've gotten to know a lot more about since he started streaming. I mean, my God, does he play a lot. And my God, he is such a strange player to watch. He does some crazy stuff. That game in the Invitational where he cast Ravaging Blaze for 10, he had it on his turn, and he waited until his opponent's next turn. And oh my gosh, if his opponent had had something, anything, like a Celestial Flare or some... I mean, we knew deckless, so we knew he didn't have it. But if his opponent had just any way to stop that Blaze from happening, he let his entire library get exiled by Ulamog. He took the hit from Ulamog, and then at instant speed, he cast Ravaging Blaze to take out Ulamog. Or to win the game, because his opponent was at 10, I mean. That's just insane. Who does that? Who does that? I would have given anything for that to get messed up somehow. And for him to just die, having decked himself. Why? Because I think that people should not toy with their food. Yep, Jay says, shut down the offense of the Scar Blade. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be one of those games when I hate playing Esper Control because I very much want to get this particular battle over with. But when you run Esper Control, you're going to be sitting here staring at each other and at, you know, kind of funny decks like this for a while. So I want to hit my land drops, but there's not a lot. I don't need to draw more cards. That's something I can do from the graveyard if I'm going to do it. And still, at this point in the game, I could probably drop Disciple and try to ride it to victory, but again, I think I'd be showing you the wrong way to do things, because the longer this game goes, the more we have to gain, and right now what I most want to do is get one more land, play Obnix with Counterspell backup, and then if Obnix can't be dealt with, we just ride that to victory. If it can, we follow up with Disciple, because the later you play Disciple, the more resources you have. So that's what we're up to, and it's not exciting, but that's Draw Go Esper. And that's the right way to play it. Like I said, I could show you some bad habits and just jam stuff out here and hope he can't deal with it, because I don't think he can, but there's always a possibility, you know, Fleshbag Marauders, something he could easily thread the needle on Disciple of the Ring with. And then we leave Counter Magic down. What could he do with Counter Magic in this scenario? Well, we don't have a board wipe, so he could resolve a Master of the Hunt or Hunt Caller, whatever this thing is, Lysolana, and start making a bunch of dudes. That could all happen. Maximum greed. Dum bum ba bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tick up, pass. It's not the most assertive, but it is winning the game. Anybody? Well, you know what? I've gone back and forth on Horribly Awry, and I'm still not married to it. I could be convinced, you know, over time that's bad, but worst card in the game? Nah, no way. Among the worst cards in the game? No. There's some cards over here. My opponent could show you some cards that he obviously is apt to play that I think are some of the worst cards in the game, but not Horribly Awry. No way. There are enough things and enough niches and roles for it that it deserves an amount of play. Like I was saying earlier, and some people, you know, probably think this is crazy, but it does have synergy with Spell Shrivel, you know. Later in the game, the opponent's like, well, I got 4 mana open for Spell Shrivel, so I'll cast this 3 or 4 mana awesome card like Nissa or Jace, and they won't be able to Spell Shrivel it, and you're like, Horribly Awry. Oh darn, now what do I do? Do I play into Spell Shrivel this turn? And Spell Shrivel. It's a rather beautiful thing to do. And it actually happens more than you'd think. Are there matchups where Horribly Awry does absolutely nothing? There are very few. There are just very few right now. Even like in Esper Mirrors, just taking out a Feldar Cub's not a bad play. This hits Whirler Rogue, which I believe is the most played blue card in our Invitational, and one of the hardest things to deal with should it resolve. I mean, that alone isn't a joke. Like, you could go down the list. Yeah, there'll be times where it's in your hand, and what your opponent is doing is not going to let you make a good show of Horribly Awry. That's going to happen. It happens with a lot of good cards. But that doesn't make them very bad. Horribly Awry has more play in this tournament than plenty of other cards that I think some people would believe to be better. So, my opinion, it deserves what it has, you know, kind of this position it has. So, we don't want to discard. May as well get this out there. Not like he'll punish us for it. No reason to cast Disciple. I think we'll Jace Ultimate him. I think that'll be fun. We'll Jace Ultimate him, we'll Obnix Ultimate him. We'll win the game by doing nothing. We might make some Thopters, though. We'll just mill you, kill you, draw you to death all at the same time. Wow. You've got it, buddy. That card is all you. I keep accidentally punching my microphone when I scratch my ear or my nose, because this headset is tight and uncomfortable. So, every time you hear a little of that, guys, those are some bad face-touching habits that I have to get out of. I don't know if it helps you to know, but now you know. Oh no. Oh boy. Let's get frisky. Are you gonna shoot my cub? Oh no. Oh dude, this isn't gonna work out. This is gonna be really ugly. You're gonna shoot Jace. Attacks, you may sacrifice if you do. I'm curious if this interaction works. This reminds me of the Ulamog interaction, so we're going to see what happens if I do this. This is more a research thing than a elite smart play. I want to see if he can still sacrifice it and get the effect. And he can. Makes sense. Just curious. Interaction I don't get to see every game because throwing knife isn't exactly a staple. Come on, buddy. What do you got? Yep. There you go. Wherever you are, you're there. There you are. Austin Powers' words of wisdom. In my continuing quest to comatose my viewers, let's see what else I can do. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, and a sack land. No more fear of flesh bag. This is definitely a point in the game where we can just play this if we want to. So, like I said, in the interest of comatosing my viewers, let's add some disciple triggers to our already extensive buffet of options. This is something that horribly awry can counter, but it's honestly not important enough to spend a counter. The right play is just not to counter it and not care. But he hasn't done anything in so many turns, I can't imagine he has something for 6 mana worth resolving. There's just no way that there's something in that hand that he's going to follow this with and make me cry. And if he does, you can all laugh at me. I mean, what would do something? Languish would make me pump my disciple and I wouldn't care, or I'd counter it. Okay. Wow, he was holding back on me. How about that? This guy was just holding back on me. But I don't particularly care that he has an empath. Let's see what you can come up with your scry trigger. Let's see if you know how to put him back in an appropriate order. I'm up against a doctor, you guys. I also play against some people every now and then with like MD in their name, which to me says they're even more likely to be a doctor. Let me tell you, every time every time I go up against a doctor, they're usually pretty bad. Somebody with MD or doctor in their name. It's almost like I'd expect Mobius to lose all his talent if he changed his name to Dr. Chicken Strips. Or if Hakeem changed his name to Dr. Elijah Wan. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Really? Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We could just try to kill him. But I'm actually not going to, and the reason is because I bet he plays Fog. I have no reason to believe he doesn't play Fog. A reference to Hearthstone? I still have no idea what a I've got nothing on Hearthstone. I don't know what people are talking about when they talk about Hearthstone cards, decks, references. The game apparently has really blown up, which doesn't bother me at all. I've seen the competition for Magic come and go year in and year out, and Magic is still Magic, and people still play Magic, and that's great. So more people gaming in general, you know, whether it's Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Hearthstone, whatever the new trend is, more people gaming in general, in the end, means more Magic players, because they all want to come play Magic eventually. Okay, guys, if you're still alive out there on the internet, we are closing in. There's only so much more time this goldfish elf deck can resist the beating we're going to apply. Yep, don't care about you. Wow, he really was holding back. Although, for the life of me, I can't explain why. It's certainly going nowhere. I mean, he can do... Like, if he had tried to play all this stuff earlier, at least I'd have had to do something about it, but he obviously... our opponent obviously spent this game, like, just in fear. And in doing so, got destroyed. So don't do that, doctors. Do not live in fear. Oh man, that's only the second game with this deck. For those of you who just joined us in the last game, this is a deck that was sent to me by a reader named Dustin, and he's pretty high on this kind of Drago Esper control deck. A really big fan. And so I'm taking it for a spin to see if it's all that it's cracked up to be. And the idea is to try to play 10 games and then write about the results for my blog. I don't know if I'll make it through 10 games. This Drago Esper is quite the try. It's quite the try hard, and it's quite the try in general. Pretty much means you got to be paying attention. It is a grind, but you folks out there who just can't see enough spells get countered and just can't get enough of dirtily control, delight, as I'm sure I will probably lose my voice and my mind trying to play this 10 games in a row against things like, I've already forgotten the name of it, that 3/4 stupid as heck beast. Whatever that thing was that I spell shriveled. As much as I love trying to improve at Magic, trying to play Magic well as a general habit, there's something almost stressful and infuriating about trying to play perfect Magic against ridiculously bad cards. And I don't want to be one of those people who's always like, this is bad, Doodles is bad, this person's bad, that card's bad, this is bad, but there are legitimately, like, just cards that should not be in decks. And the sooner the players who are using them learn that, the better. And, gosh, playing against and around cards that just shouldn't be there just kind of stresses. Over time, it kind of stresses you out and wears you down and makes you just play badly. And that's the truth. Like, resisting just spiking Disciple on the table and winning that game was all about, being disciplined and knowing that I win a long game, whereas I could make mistakes in the short term that could cost me a game, potentially, even though I would totally get away with that play. And I think a lot of people, if you let your discipline down and just get away with that play enough, you start believing it's the right play. And it's the wrong play. And then you'll come up against some tryhard like me, and I'll punish you for it and point and laugh, and you'll be like, hey, I win games all the time. How come I'm not good? Improvise, play with what they got. You are right about that, Trusty7. You are absolutely right about that, and I have nothing against that. They still shouldn't play that 3/4. Like, out of the starter box, out of that whatever first set of cards you get, that 3/4 is one of them. But there are also enough cards that you don't have to play that guy. So it's still not a card you should play. I'm actually we've got removal. I don't know if I should keep this. It's a pretty bad hand, but we'll see. So yeah, definitely not tearing down the idea that sometimes we have to play cards that are not very good to get ourselves going. I know that's the truth. I know all about that. But even then, shouldn't play that particular card. Hey Chris, I got the mic. So enjoy it while it lasts. Alright, more elves. Who have we got today? Somebody who's probably elfing a little harder. I think Visionary... No, Visionary was Origins. I think we just spike Cub here. It prevents damage. Yeah. Don't want to fire these off yet. Against elves, these are really good. They hit both Elf Lord Gosh, I haven't seen her in so long, I forgot her name. Is it Dwenin? And they hit the Hunt Master. Or Master of the Hunt. I think it's Hunt Master. Oh wow, you got me, dude. Reef soul to my cubby. Good night, sweet cub. Again, you gotta stop jumping off that cliff. Like, who makes their den that close to a cliff? Crazy kitties. Don't think there'll be anything I want to disregard this turn, although we are at that point where he plays the Hunt Master. If he does that, we would like to do this on end step and have the chance to draw an untapped land and inspiration, as opposed to reef souling it and waiting another turn. So we play the untapped land this turn. What was beating you down, Gris? What was beating down your work with the Gruul deck today? I really want to know. And do you think you played well, or do you think you had a bad day? Because sometimes I wake up, and I mean I try to make a real habit out of playing well, but sometimes I wake up and I don't have it. There have been times on the stream, like there was a time where I was on commentary on the stream, and I just said, guys, I don't have it today. I'm getting off this stream. I'm not playing well at all. So was it a bad day for you? Or, was it a great day for your opponents? And if so, what did they play? What gave you so much trouble? No white, oh black, white, black, black. So let's get a white. Okay, well, let's, I don't want Hakeem to know how often Thopters beat on my Gruul list, so we'll just keep all that to ourselves now that we've put it out there. Hey, that's why he killed our cub, or at least it makes him look smart for killing our cub. Got his Evo leap. Okay, he's not just doing the value sack, he's happy with his 1 damage a turn. If he attacks into our Shambling Vent, he either doesn't know it's there, or he's a wild size type, and I think he's smart enough to know it's there. The guy picked up 30-some wins somewhere. Probably didn't do it without running into Shambling Vent these days. Jagged Scar, yep. See if he still attacks. Yeah, no attack because he doesn't have a pump. So that's something we can at least bank on for right now. And if he suddenly attacks later, we can guess he drew one. Yep. I was just commenting on a YouTube video that drawing too much lands is something that's going to happen anytime you play a control deck. And here it is happening to me, and that's the way it goes. That's what you sign up for. If you don't like being mana flooded, you better play a different deck. So we're gonna get this out of the way. He's gonna Evo leap it. Nothing we can do about that. We're pretty much gonna be playing some kind of catch up. We'll get that out there. I think that keeps the blue sources and the black source and the white sources about even. We could play that one, but anyway. Yep. Yeah, there's a good one. So we went through both of the removal spells that we said would be great against this particular critter, but, okay. We could be playing into a Reeve Soul, but if he has that, he does not get to sacrifice to his Evo Leap, and we knew he drew this, so I don't think he has Pump. So we're gonna tempt fate. This could be a mistake. He was smart enough to see it last turn, so it leads me to believe he's potentially trapping me this turn, but the only trap that I'm really expecting here is Reeve Soul, which I would welcome. Not a combat trick. And yep, he didn't sack, so there we go. And that's okay. We have plenty of land. We gained 2 life, and he didn't get he didn't get to leap, but we didn't draw an answer for Dwenen, which would have been really nice. Yep, that's bad. We have 4 languish, or not 4 languish, we have 2 languish, 2 planar outbursts to play towards. We have 4 inspiration and 4 epiphanies to get closer to them. So, game's not over, but we have to stem the bleeding and figure out what we can do here. I'm going to activate Foundry on end step in case we draw an epiphany. And he doesn't have, I mean, I don't think he might have another Reeve Soul or something, but I doubt he'd blow it on Thopter tokens. We can use them to maybe do some blocking and save some life. We're looking at 8 damage. 8 damage is a 2-turn clock, and there's Nissa. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. So we've got a turn really to draw what we need. Foundry will buy us. Depending on what he does here, Foundry will buy us another, but pretty much 2 turns to draw what we need. Mana floods happen. Oh, forgot to even activate it. Was too busy picking my nose. Oh well. If we take it this turn, maybe we don't even want to activate it? Maybe we want to take it this turn and buy next turn? Because if we draw a planar outburst, he's got Nissa going. We're going to want to keep Nissa in check. It might be basically at this point we're playing to draw a sweeper, so I think we actually want to put off activating that Foundry, because we'll need it post-sweeper to keep Nissa from going off. Yep, we're not gonna... Actually, we could allow this. We really could. We can't allow 2. We can take this one, because we have to draw a sweeper no matter what. No, wait, if we stop this, we can still block and buy another turn, so yeah, we should counter this. Even though we could also reprisal it. But the life loss would make the chump with Foundry take that off the table. Okay. And that's not going to be the answer. So, didn't get there this game. Was there anything we could have done about it? It was perfectly, I think it was a perfectly reasonable opening hand. Our opponent's going to play with his food. It was a perfectly reasonable opening hand with these 2 removal spells, which are really good against elves. Draw spell. Maybe if we didn't trade the Shambling Vent, it would have held off. Shambling Vent and Thopter tokens could have held up Dwenen. Let me see here. So, that trade making my Shambling Vent a Reeve Soul target, in hindsight, at the time I was really fine with it. In hindsight, that was probably a mistake, because a Foundry of the Consuls and a Shambling Vent could have teamed up to keep Dwynnin out of combat, which could have bought us a lot more time. Maybe not a lot more time, but like 2 or 3 draw steps when you have 4 sweepers in the deck and 7 card draw spells can make a huge difference in a control deck. So what did we target with this? This went to the 3/1 discard a card. I don't regret that. What did our other Reeve Soul hit? Jagged Scar? I could have let him have Jagged Scar and reprisaled it, especially knowing what I should know about elf decks. So if we let him have a Jagged Scar, and then he plays into it with more elves, Reprisal can take that out, Reeve Soul can take out Dwynnin. Yep. So that was probably the biggest mistake. I think that was easily the biggest mistake. Alright. Well, I hope some of you guys found that enlightening. And if you take one thing away from that, even if you agree with a lot of kind of the other analysis I just did, please, for love of God, don't just like get mad that you drew 1,000,000 lands and curse about it and rage quit and learn absolutely nothing. At least give yourself a chance to see what you could have done better with the spells you did have. Especially if you keep a good opening hand, you know. A good opening hand has tools, and it's your job to make the most of them. You can't control whether or not you're going to draw 6 lands in a row or not, but you can make the most of the tools you have. Hopefully we can find that player again. Get another shot at him. It's a habit I've tried to pick up. I don't know if anybody watches like Magic Online streams. I've been watching Gabby Sparks, who is she has a lot of talent and is a very good teacher, and that is compared to anybody of any gender. And in addition to those marvelous qualities, she is amazingly cute. She was on coverage playing in Grand Prix Oakland. I think she was like 5-2 or something, and I had that on while I was also trying to play a game on stream at the same time. I had that on the TV next to me, and I think I screwed up that game 100 times. Just could not stop staring at the screen. But yeah, at the end of her games, she's, she'll pretty commonly say, okay, what could we have done differently? Look through the graveyard, look through this, and try to figure out, where could the game have taken a better turn? And it's a habit I'm trying to get into, because I've spent plenty of years quickly rage quitting my games where I felt jaded or unlucky. I've played Magic for like 2 decades now, and I only feel like I've really put in my 10,000 hours in like the last couple of years, and for better or worse, it's all been around Duels of the Planeswalkers. Gonna go ahead and hit this because I want to cast this next turn, and then we can remove whatever he plays to follow this up with later. So I want to use the Awry because it'll let me cast Inspiration a turn sooner. CovertGoBlue does not watch Magic videos. Thanks for the concern. And she probably wouldn't even have a problem with me calling a female competitor in Magic the Gathering cute. She would probably be a big Gabby fan too if she were into watching such things. Alright. I'm going to kick back and let those 22 lands still left in the deck drift towards the top. Oh boy, it's the Razorfoot Griffin. That should eat a Reeve's Soul if we can draw a land off this, which is about a 50-50 chance. Probably looking to get rid of Offering because I can't foresee what the target will be. I'm sure one could come along, but we'll just do without. Still one blue, not killing us right now, but would love to see another one. I don't know why it wants to tap my only blue source. Also, we're going to try to get to 7 mana, play Gideon with counter backup. It's a tried but true way to get your Planeswalker to live. And we have the means in our hand to kick back for a while. That's fine. I'll use a little bit of this on end step. Okay, let the waiting game continue. Now would be an appropriate time for that clump of lands to come along, and then we'd be just set. But, you know, these spots are not something to complain about. Lands are good, spells are good. Lands are good, and spells are good, as long as they're not double blue. Alright, our opponent, what are we sitting on? Auras, pump spells, things like that. It's most likely the hand. We're definitely not going to bother doing things like getting in with our Shambling Vents. If you need a review, we're waiting on one more untapped land to play Gideon with a counterspell backup. I have a message from Danny. That's going to be my opponent for the next round. So I should probably read that, but I'm in stream, I'm doing my thing. And I sent him a message like earlier today, so I'm sure it can wait. How old am I? I'm 34. I am 34 years young. So yeah, if you do the math, started playing around, I think I was between 13 and 14. And if anybody reads Malcolm Gladwell, I'm pretty sure I got my 10,000 hours. But I'm by no means a master. But that, I don't know. As long as I'm in the moment and paying attention to what's going on, my gut for the game just feels really in tune with whatever's happening. It really helps. I mean, nothing beats experience. If you want to do better at Magic, just, you know, play more Magic. You can watch streams and watch YouTube videos and learn a lot that way, but operation number one should be to play more Magic. Yeah, that's fine. And duels counts, you know. If you're getting really good at duels, it will serve you well if you want to leap to paper, or, you know, if you just want to make the most of playing duels. I spent about 3 years only playing duels, and then I got back into paper, and I think I was better at paper when I came back than when I left. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to come back and feel really sharp. I won my first tournament back. I got second in the next tournament, and I got first in the next two. Might be a Celestial Flare here, but that walks into a Shrivel. Okay. We're gonna pump. Well, that seems wasteful. Oh man. That feels too bad. That's too bad. I can't believe I found ways to afford magic when I was young. It was definitely one of those cases of constantly hustling. Having garage sales, doing chores for my mom and for neighbors, anything I could do to make a buck so that I could afford to play this game. And not only did I afford to play, I afforded to travel, you know. I afforded to do, you know, the circuit of tournaments throughout the Midwest, and as far south as Dallas, as far west as LA, and as far east as New York. I still have not played Magic internationally, which, you know, we'll put that on the bucket list. I'd like to play an international tournament someday. Not even flinching. No reason to try to incite like some kind of a trade here. Although, at this point we have more resources than we're going to use, so we may as well start using them to win the game now that we're trying to close. Okay. I think we'll just fire this off. I doubt we'll have a much better opportunity with it. Hakeem International? I think we're already having an international. I think we've got friends from the Eurozone participating in this event, but I could be wrong about that. I didn't look really closely. I know I play with and against people from plenty of different time zones, particularly Asia and Europe, and that probably has a lot to do with the weird times of day that I play Magic. Okay, so this new player has also been slow rolling us and holding back creatures, and now is leaning in a bit, which may mean it's time to just outburst his board and continue the beatdown. So it's a one-turn clock if I wipe his guys and hit him with Gideon again. I don't have to do that. I mean, the actual right play is probably just to keep swinging with Gideon and make him extend even more, because neither of these are a threat. That'll take longer, but it's the right play. And we don't want to start making lazy plays. So that's what we'll do. We'll see if we can entice a pump spell. If he trades with the knight, that's just another turn. That's just one less turn that he's going to live. Okay, taking it all. Not what I expected, considering he's been chump blocking for the last several turns. Yeah, Nighthawk, he loves blocking anyway, and then he threw you a curveball. Maybe he's in the Twitch chat. Well, I'll show them. Not gonna block at all. See how they like that. Oh, goodness. Oh yeah, get it on, dude. Get your auras out there. Get your jollies. You gonna attack? You built a 4/7. Okay. Not gonna attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's game. With a planar outburst into shambling vents, assuming I don't tap mana absolutely pathetically. So we've won the easy games, we've lost the hard games, is the story of this deck so far. For those of you just joining me, I got a deck emailed to me by a reader. He wanted me to try it out, so if we can, we're going to try to get through 10 games and see how it does. So, not my creation, pretty close. Ha! Hello. I keep on forgetting to put myself in a private party, and I keep on Twitch commentating. Ha, thank you. Oh my gosh. So guys, I keep on leaving my mic on for chat, and people keep listening to everything I say. So he actually heard me talk about blocking. On it every day that I've played Magic. Every time I've used a mic. As part of my mic phobia as well, you guys. I keep screwing up. I keep making mistakes every time I use the mic, so one solution is not to use the mic. That is a way around all of the stupidity I manage to provide on camera for everyone involved. All right. Okay. And okay, derp, derp indeed. And then he gets on, he's from Germany, and he tells me that he speaks German and didn't understand some of what I said to make me feel better, I believe. But his English was very good, having said that, so I don't believe him. I think he was trying to make me feel better. And he said, "Thank you for the lesson. Your deck is very good." Educating the world one screwed up mic situation at a time. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to keep this hand, and we're going to try something. That's what we get, and we'll go from there. Sending Danny a response as we try to schedule our message. It sounds like we're going to set up our battle for Wednesday night, for those of you interested. All right, we have single white and we have single black, and I think we want to cast Cub next turn, and we want to cast this turn 3, so we are going to crack. Let's see. We have 3 double white cards and 3 double black cards, so it's just an even split on what we're going to draw and what's going to be useful. Languish comes online faster, so if he plays a creature here, we'll make it black. He played a creature. It's that creature, but it's still a creature. We made a deal. We're going to go black. I'm glad that you got a good laugh out of that, Chris. I got a great laugh out of his too, and that was from Mobius. Don't thank me, thank him. Let's get Jace down and make him deal with it. Hawkhammer types calm. Did I sound rattled? Am I tilting? I don't think so. Here in the northern Midwest, we're gonna get a lot of snow, and we're gonna get a lot of cold temperatures for the next couple days. So hopefully that'll mean a lot of duels for you guys as I hang around in here. Wait a minute, why are people joining my... People are joining my party? The whole reason I did this was to have a private party so no one could join. How does this work? How does that work? I don't know how everything happens. Not that Gemini's welcome to join my party. Welcome, Gemini, but my goodness, I don't know how this all is supposed to go down. I'm going to save Jace because it can still block this dork. And the plan is a bit of that and a bit of this. We could put this guy out there and prevent this from gaining lifelink, but I'm not actually worried about that because of this. So we'll see what he does. Gris would rather delete his account before he thanks Mobius for anything. Salt for the Salt Master. He's an acquired taste, I'll tell you that. He's rubbed me wrong a few times in our, history, but the Magic Duels, especially the wannabe competitive Magic Duels universe, is small, and going out of your way to make enemies and hold grudges isn't going to do any good for anybody, in my opinion. So, I try to get past all that stuff. I'm gonna pitch this other Epiphany because I need to start making proactive plays, and I think just keeping card draw spells in the long term will not be what I'm going for. This will get us to where we can flip Jace and cast Languish next turn, and that's gonna be gravy. This is going to be the most likely play next turn. This is going to probably be good. He must have enchantments, and this is probably good. So I think I'm supposed to get rid of a land, which I don't really like doing without, I like having 6 lands around, but the rest of the cards are too good. I could have pitched Languish and flashed it back right away and then started ticking up Jace. That is an option. I don't like it because if he refills the board with more than I can deal with next turn, I would like to flash Languish back next turn. Zudigi, hi, I'm a make an account now. Over something. Words, and become your greatest rival in duels. If you would like to try to become my greatest rival in duels, you are welcome to. My voice lulls Lockhammer into an intense calm. Interesting. Well, enjoy your intense calm, buddy. Now, I don't think anything truly bad can happen from holding up an instant speed type play. So what we're going to do is shrink this. There's still plenty of instant speed interaction we have and answers to most of the things I can think of. So we're going to wait before doing any kind of flashbacks. I mean, based on what I've seen of his deck, we have exactly the cards we want right now. Also, no reason to bust this out onto the table. Let's see if we can get him to play like a retreat or something like that. Especially a turn like this where it's kind of a really good bait for Horribly Awry, and then we can complete disregard Lily if we want to. He's going to grasp, that's fantastic. He's going to attack. Let's just say no. He's only got 1 card left. Being much more greedy won't get us anywhere. I think think the nearest path to victory that I even see might be a Jace ultimate, so we're just going to push for it. But we have such good stuff in our graveyard, I don't think I'd sack Jace for it. Like, Disregard, Epiphany, and Languish are so good in the matchup, I don't even know if I'd make a Jace emblem at all. It's probably not even worth it. Like, he's just not going to beat Jace and those cards for the rest of the game. We definitely drew the right half of our deck for a kind of a slow Orzavi enchantment-y deck like this, which I don't think it's a very good deck. I'm not a fan. But at least it's a deck, you know, that had some thought put into it and some focus. And here is a card. So that is not something we have an instant answer to, although I think with 7 mana we can Languish and disregard it. So my first instinct was to sack this, but we don't have to. We can flashback Languish and disregard and exile it, and if we have 7, and we have exactly 7, so that's fine. You can have Kothafed. We could also do the Jace ultimate and then try to kill our own stuff and mill him. Oh, with the ridiculous times I could have with Kothafed, but that all would probably lose me the game. So how about no? How about no? Alright. Let's make sure we have enough black. Yeah, we do. We just have to tap carefully. Bye-bye, homie. Now, if he has another, that's going to be a different kind of story. I don't see any world where I'm going to want to draw this again right now, so we'll just get this land out. Overt, stop, over, stop, overt, stop, avert, stop, red. So I guess that's some kind of that's a play on my name. Is that what I'm reading? He's going to be my arch nemesis through clever naming. This name, I mean, nobody asked me where it came from. It's not like it's some kind of subject of debate, but this name just was randomly generated when I created an Xbox Live account, and I was like, I don't know why I'm doing all this. I don't know why I'm creating a name. And they were like, they suggested this, I think, based on I like the University of Michigan on NCAA football. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. CovertGoBlue, like the Wolverines, which would probably polarize me more than anything else. What's the guy gotta do to get his lands tapped right? There we go. I guess I could have tapped the Foundry. I couldn't remember if I had an untapped land in my hand or not. Slipping a little bit telling the genesis of my name story. It's time. Get out there, Cubby. Get out there and eat a Reef Soul. Some deep meaning. I don't keep it very deep. I say, actually, you know, I save the deep stuff for more important things, I think is the right way to look at it. There are probably better threats, but he has a lot of life gain triggers, and if this just starts growing, bad things could happen. So we're going to counter that. I don't know if I should have saved that or not. Like I said, slipping into story time mode, because the combination of this Drago deck and some of these decks that it's matching up with are putting me to sleep. No offense intended to my opponents, who I'm sure are doing the best they can. It is definitely of my own doing. I think it's Thopter time followed by Vent time. No, because if we make Thopters, that Languish wipes all that out. So we'll just hold back the Thopters, and we'll just start venting. We are in a bit of trouble. Let's see. We don't have any answers left. So if he draws the right threats and the answers aren't in our graveyard, we may have to go from Jace flashback mode into Jace dig mode. Well, I mean, still using Jace flashback mode, but our Jace will be too low to help us anymore. There's a Defiant Bloodlord. Don't think I've got a solution up my... don't think I have a solution up my sleeve yet for him. No, I do. How about that? So, let's see here. Do we care if we do this on my turn or his? If he has something to gain life, I guess the worst thing would be like a Divine Favor. We can keep that from happening by doing something this turn, which he may not block anyway. If we attack here, we tap our white sources, so that's actually not going to happen. Get him. Sick him, boy. And there's the block. The reason we dropped the land and are now empty-handed again is because we wanted him to think we drew a land that turn. If he thinks we drew a land, he knows we didn't draw an answer for the Bloodlord, even though, like, I hadn't had a chance to cast Celestial Flare yet. It's just another reason he might choose to block. That's a good draw. Oh, shoot. Meant to stop the timer and sack Foundry first, so now we're not going to sack that this turn. I swear I hit the button, but that's duels. And that's another problem with playing reactive strategies and duels in general. When the button doesn't work, just feel like such an idiot. And it's also going to cost us here because we have to discard a card. I think this is a better play than trying to take the route of like using Foundry of the Councils to block. Which, I'll leave a mana open in case we draw another land to do that. You know, if I can tap my lands right. For some reason, this game just loves tapping the least effective way. I'll take that. Fortunately, we're at 19 and can try to wait this out, and he might go after Jace. What's it gonna be, Kothafed? Gonna go after Jace. So let's dig for another flare now. With the right mana, frickin' please. And we're not gonna crack Foundry and defend Jace, we're gonna let him have it. Jace's effectiveness is gonna be pretty blunted now that he's low on loyalty, but he got us a long way. He got us through an intense mana flood, he flashed back a lot of action. We'd be dead in the water without him that game. Mortuary Mire. What do you want? What is your pleasure, sir? Defiant Bloodlord. Okay. Okay. How greedy do I feel? Gemini, you want to play me? Yeah, you can run some decks at this deck since we're trying to figure out if it's good or not for sure. So I would love to play you after this game if you can hang out for a minute. Same goes for anybody who's in Twitch chat and on Xbox and might want to jump on and battle me. it's much better to play against somebody you know and who's gonna, play some decks with some thought into it and has the card collection unlocked than it is to, just dirtle and play against the randoms, do the random smashing. So this is why we waited. We knew he had this on top of the deck. We wanted to see if he'd commit and put it out there. He has. So now we are gonna have some fun. And because I love my Shambling Vent, and he probably has nothing to interact with it at instant speed since I haven't seen any complete disregards, we're going to awaken a land that is not the Shambling Vent, and obviously not one of the Foundries. So we're going to make it Swamp number 3. Sure. You gain that life, buddy. Because, damn it, he gets to drain me for one doing it. And I get to smack him for 4 with a swamp. Hoorah! Gemini, if I play after this, you can't snipe me. You gotta put your Twitch on chat only under settings. You gotta promise to do that, okay? It's not good manners. It's not fair to the host. So now we're going to do Mana Beatdown for the wins, I hope. That game got really, it went from feeling really under control and almost unlosable to being pretty dicey in the mid-game because he drew some huge threats and we had no counter spells or great cards in hand to deal with them. Some of our removal is like really tilted towards cheap creatures. That's another thing that, I don't know if I'd call it a hole in the deck, but it's certainly an opportunity for someone to get back in the game just playing monstrous type threats. But Jace got us through there and showed you how flashback Jace gets work done. If we had made an emblem when we had him on 9, I think we would have lost that game. Although the draws would have turned out a lot different. Alright, 5 games in the book, so halfway home. And let's go see if Gemini wants to play. Here, Gemini, 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 come out and play. There we go. Looking very fiery today, Gemini. Looking very fiery. So Gemini is going to put this deck through its paces. He has some interesting builds. And if it has weaknesses, if this deck has weaknesses or holes to shoot in its control strategy, I think he'll find them. We're going to talk in like euphemisms now, because he probably still has the sound on, and I don't want to put him in the awkward position of hearing everything I do. Also, he might even still be in my party. This is slow, but we're on the play, so I think it'll work. But if he's playing some crazy aggro thing, this will be over. This girl is on fire. He's walking on fire. And I think I just lost the game already. Yeah, bring it, dude. Bring that on. There is definitely always a chance in decks like this one that the, 1, 2, 3 drop just runs it out of the building. Do we dare? So there's a real question on this turn, because if we do this, we have this, but next turn we have this, and we pretty much need to do this. There's a chance that in doing, there's a good chance that if we do this turn and rely on this, we'll have nothing to do the following turn. So it stinks, but I think we gotta do this. And we'd really like to draw the right card off the top of the deck. Would be very good. So that any of this can save our bacon. Yeah. We knew we were giving him a chance to light us up, light us up, 'cause he's on fire! Oh, jeez. Well, someone in chat type to Gemini, tell him, and maybe he can hear me, but tell him he's welcome to do a second game. Just pick a different deck for each game, because we're trying to do kind of a variety of games for the article I might write, may or may not write, if I can get through all the games. If somebody would just type out and ask him, you can play him again, just please play a different deck. Would make my day. He kind of leaves he leaves the game. It's not over since he went after Gideon. I think it would be over if he went to my face. So, let's see what happens. And see if he goes like Firecraft, pitch a land, kill me. Okay. Would be really great to draw a certain color. Denied. That'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Probably should have just let that go. Or no, I'd be dead. That's why. Sometimes I forget why I did things. I did that because this guy would get a +2/0 boost and I'd be dead. And now I'm sure he's just toying with me because that's what he does. Well, that's a shame. Could have been such a different game, but that's the 3-color mana base kicking you in the teeth. You have a chance to sack wrong. Oh, look, he didn't. Alrighty. No, Locke, it's perfectly fantastic if he wants to play red, because if you're gonna pitch a deck to me, and just a reminder for those tuning in, this deck was sent to me by email by a guy named Dustin, who thinks it's really great, and it's kind of an Esper Drago deck, so I'm making a video and trying to play 10 games with it and see how it does. So it's not my deck, it's somebody else's. But if you're gonna send me a deck and say it's really good, send a deck to me that can't beat red, well, you need to know, hi, you sent me a deck and it doesn't beat red because it has a 3-color mana base, and that's why I don't really like 3-color mana bases very much. One of the main problems I have with Esper, I love Shambling Vent. In fact, I almost play a blue-white deck with a few black, white, and black-blue lands and Shambling Vent, so I can use Shambling Vent. Shambling Vent is awesome. But like Obnix and Languish are amazing, but they're both double black, and they're the main reasons that you're playing black. So the odds of actually getting to drop them on curve when you want to is very poor. I think I ran the numbers, and it's only like 20 or 30% of games where you draw it, you'll be able to cast it on time. I mean, that's not good. You need like 20 sources to cast a double black spell on turn. You need 20 black sources to cast a double black spell on turn 4 80% or more of the time when you have it. Not consistent. That's unfortunately the problem. Hi Hakeem, in case you're just joining us, we're playing a deck that was submitted to me over email by a reader on my blog, so it's not my deck, it's theirs. They are really high on this Esper style draw go deck, and we want to see how it goes. But Gemini doesn't look like he changed his deck, which is kind of throwing up my curve, so I'm just going to ban him forever from chat and everything else, since he apparently doesn't read or listen. Maybe he's not on the channel at all because he doesn't want to snipe. I should have sent him like the message by Xbox Glass myself. Okay. I think we just have to do stupid crap like this to stay alive. There's not really anything else for us to cast on turn 2. I came here to pick on Horribly Awry. Yeah, it's not very good in red aggro against red aggro. That already has a 4/3 call the full moon critter. And there's that Languish, and once again, there's no way we're going to cast that on time. Yeah, I think we just gotta do this to make it far enough in the game to do anything useful. But we're just gonna lose to this 1-drop, 2-drop. Yeah, Chandra. That's cool. There's really not a lot of hope because, you know, we'll tap out to cast this, and then whatever he plays next will just kind of run right through us. Hello. Where have you been all my life? You're a little late to this party. Was I high when I committed to playing this? You know what? It's something I'm trying. I'm trying to find a different kind of content for my blog, and I'm grateful to the readers who, you know, want to send me decks. So this is a way I'm trying to pay it back, but it may not be a good endeavor. I think I've already lost like 4 games. Playing the right deck, playing a tuned deck that, you know, is going to take on what you see in the meta is such a huge part of the battle. You could hand, you know, the theory that you could hand like a pro a stack of absolute crap and they'll go win a pro tour with it, or even a local FNM is, in my opinion, completely wrong. The tuned deck is such a huge part of it. Gemini, why can't I find you on my friends list? Gemini. Wait, what? No, that's not... I am still really bad at Xbox interface management. Okay. Yeah, in case you can hear me, Gemini, in case you're listening, it's for the video. I want people to be able to see a variety of decks, and I want to be able to... That I, like... Oh, what did I just do? It's not that I'm hating on any that I don't want to play against a certain deck, or I don't like a certain deck. I certainly do want to play against, you know, all the usual culprits. I want a ramp deck, control deck, at me, and I won't get pissed if you moss me. Covert, how did it feel when people you didn't even know were aware of your curse? It made me feel like I'm a total idiot. Like a comically stupid person. And for those of you unaware, on my blog I talked about who was going to win. I made predictions for who would win and who would lose in their rounds, and my first 4 predictions were wrong, including some I was really confident about. And so the covert curse came to say, if I predict you'll win, you will lose. So yes, it made me feel very stupid. Thank you for asking, Hakeem. It reminds me every day that I can be absolutely wrong very often. And yes, I also predicted Ronda Rousey would best home. It is true. That is a true statement that you didn't even know was true until you said that. There are a lot of ways this hand loses. This is kind of a fool's gold hand, because there are a lot of dead draws. Yeah, that I would say is a one-trick pony type hand, and it's fool's gold. It can only do one thing, and if that one thing is the silver bullet that your opponent can't handle, you're good. But I mean, like that hand, there are a lot of things that hand cannot deal with. You know who wins the Miss Universe pageant every year? Donald Trump. That's who. Because he'll just go marry one of the winners in a few years. Just watch. And you know who Donald Trump would tell you wins the Miss Universe pageant every year? Each and every one of you, because he does it for the people. Just ask him. Alrighty. We're a 26 land deck, so there are 24 left in the deck. So 24 and 24 is 48. So we're just under a coin flip, a 50% chance of top decking what we need each turn. And that's usually not something I shy away from. I usually take such coin flips and try to get there. I'd rather have a bunch of spells, but we really need one more land drop. And we really need it this turn, because if Moss resolves, good night. We lose the big coin flip. So if he's got Moss, it's over. If he doesn't, we probably have a few more turns to try to, maybe 1 or 2 more turns to piece this together before large things start hitting us in the face. Yeah, there you go, guys. So it's hard to be too frustrated. I mean, we basically lost 2 coin flips in a row, 3 now. Didn't draw the 3rd land we needed to be able to do this. If we had, we'd be in alright shape. As it is, we're gonna lose. And that's Magic sometimes. Although it is a huge problem with a reactive strategy that you end up in those situations. I think this, well, that'll come online first. Might still use one, so that's probably the least effective thing we can do. Hello, Green Warden. Oh, that's cool. Good for the Gemini. Not even gonna bother mossing me. And he hits 2 lands. Yeah, I get why people get upset about, acid moss. It's not worth getting upset about acid moss, but I understand their reasons. It's just a card. And really, it's, it's not even a good card until you take the tempo that you built by casting it, and then you drop some large, hard-to-deal-with threats on top of it. And one thing about duels, since we don't have efficient removal spells, is that almost every threat is hard to deal with. As long as it's over a certain size, like once you get into 5/5, 6/6, etc., every threat is suddenly a problem. We just don't have efficient removal spells. Hey, you're not supposed to let me do that, unless he has Ulamog in hand. Yeah, if he has that, I think he would have cast it that turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he could have cast it that turn. Really, dude? It is one of the things. You play with Gemini, he plays with his food. It's really frustrating. Really annoying. Alright, that's 8 games. I think we've won 3 of them, and they were all against pretty bad opponents. If I take this, get 2 games, we'll see where it ends up. I mean, nothing's over, but this is certainly the kind of thing that we could take and we could make a video and write an article kind of dissecting what's wrong with the deck, where it lacks answers, and where it's just kind of a struggle in general to be reactive in this field, and the things that it just tuning in. I've got this into somewhat of a routine. But for those of you just tuning in, reader of my blog, Duels Diaries, which you can find by searching for Haunted Flower Duels Diaries on Google, a reader of my blog who's a fan sent me a deck list by email, which I always appreciate, and it's a very draw-go-y type Esper deck. And I thought it might be fun article type fodder to take it out, build it, play 10 games with it, and then talk about what's right or wrong with the list, and maybe we'd have an educational experience. The one beautiful tightrope I plan to walk, or may have to walk, maybe not. But the one tightrope is when he sent me the list, and when people send me lists, they tell me how great they are and how I just have to play them. They don't know that I might play it in front of a bunch of people, then write about it, and then tear it in half like a unwanted sheet of paper in front of all the readers with a blog entry. The mana is right. We have the turn for this. We could still lose to the wrong draw, but this isn't that kind of a fast format. I think we try this. It is a one-trick pony. It could lose to, if he just planeswalkers me, this does nothing. Shambling Vents is another thing it doesn't answer, but that's kind of a long-term thing. But at this point, this is only a creature solution hand. It has no solution for spells, no solution for planeswalkers, so it is risky, and not something I'm particularly proud of keeping. And that's the way it goes. We're going to go get a black, and, we'll set up language, because I don't think there's anything he could do that would make me want to play this early, but we'll see. And if he was playing Esper Control, we definitely didn't keep a hand that is really going to help us there. And since he looks like Esper Control, I think we will just put this out and see if we can gain even the slightest bit of tempo from it. Hey, Cubber Mirror. Do you think our cats will like each other? Or wait, a cub. A cub is a... Yeah, it's a cat, yeah. Don't know why I was having a brain fart there, but I think our cats will get along if we take them to the cat park. See what he wants to do. He wants to trade. It's fine. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy either way. I'll either take the initiative, but I'm kind of happy because perhaps it's going to set up Vents walking into this. I don't think cat parks are real. Yeah. They're probably not real. I make things up when I stream. It's a known fact. Don't listen to a word I say. I also said, I told y'all I was going to lose my voice trying to commentate on 10 games with this frickin' Drago Esper deck, and here we are. I feel like I'm gasping for air. I am jealous. I want that card. I want that card in my hand now. So in an Esper Mirror, how do I feel about this deck? Well, obviously all the creature solutions aren't where we want to be. But we do have 4 Epiphanies and we have 4 Inspirations, so we should get ahead on draw, but we have less counterspells, which means we can't force through the cards we need to force through. We are hitting our land drops. We're a land drop ahead, which is a big deal. Where does commentate come from? I don't know. Commentators? Commentators commentate? Maybe they make really common potatoes. I don't know, dude. You're asking too many questions, Hakeem. Okay, there is that. I would have definitely, in Gemini's seat, saved that to force through something amazing, because that's like winning a I counter your counter war is like, it is the whole reason to play that card. He can activate block, or he can Celestial Flare, and we let down our counter shields to do that, and I don't really want to give up a land anyway. Having more lands is important, although we need more draw and more spells to make that work. Thopters aren't fun. I was amazed how many of the decks that I have built right now that I would, consider somewhat competitive. I was amazed how many have Foundry of the Consoles in it right now. It's like one of the only good ways to get value off playing a bunch of lands. I've also been amazed how many games I win, just attacking with Thopters, especially in a deck like Gemini's there. Okay. That's all according to plan, so to speak. Sort of. Not very worried. And that's all perfectly fine. I'm not disappointed. Not in the least. Yeah, Hakeem, but I knew that was very likely. In a vacuum, these shambling vents actually, completely defeat these Thopter tokens. So we could, kind of push him into doing things and making plays to keep shambling vent from just running him over on his own. But right now, at this point, we pretty much have an opportunity to make this play. So, do I try to get him to tap first, or do I get in with my shambling vent? Also, that means afterwards I can't play this with counter protection. And afterwards we can still go for it with a vent if we want to. So we're going to cast it as is, no awaken right now. He wants to fire off scatter. And I think we let that happen. No, we don't. We save this because there's a card called Disciple of the Ring in his deck that I think will be more impactful, and that if he casts that to follow up this planar outburst, it would, like, everything he's done would be explained if he also had Disciple in his hand and was going to follow this up. So I want to have this if he still has Disciple after this play. Still flare the... Hey guys, have I played this game before? Oh my goodness. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, pay 2. Yeah. And I can still hold the land if I want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Second plains from the right, straight on till morning. One thing about holding this and doing a land bluff here is he has every reason to believe it's not a land since we didn't play it, to have more ways to pay for Disciple even though we didn't need it. I think most people would. Mortuary Mire is good. Mortuary Mire is good. So big draw coming up for us. It's kind of amazing, like, I've played a lot with that deck, Gemini's deck, and the 1-ofs in that deck, they work together. They show up. Like, really tiny bits of synergy that are hardly worth having 1-ofs in your deck, but man does it pay off when it works. I would say he's sitting pretty. So, he does not give a damn about the counterspell bluff, even though it seemed pretty reasonable. He's got 2. 2 is interesting. I'm not sure what I could really use to pressure him with there. We have an interesting opportunity here. So, if I'm in his deck, I think there's Celestial Flare. That would be pretty brutal. But we could sacrifice one, and then he could... Okay, if there's a Flare, and I sacrifice one Shambling Vent, he's still taking 6, and he would have to blow all of his activations. 1, 2, and then a Flare would be 3. But it would be a complete blowout, and I'd lose... Well, no, I would only lose 1, 2, 3. I'd only lose 1 land. So I think this is right, even if he has it. He might go for tap down. If he does, then I'm really happy about that. Okay, he lets me go right to blocks. And non-land permanent, so there you go. Kind of tagged him there. Let's see if he runs it back out. He does. Interesting. Ah, man, if I'd drawn, something playable. Though it sounds like you guys down there are raging harder at my mana flood than I am. Something you might want to just, learn more about yourself. Check that out. Something to work on yourself with. Okay. I think what we want to do is see if we can bait him into that attack again, and if he uses 3 pumps and uses his yard, then we can do that. I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think throwing this away for 1 pump or throwing this away for 1 pump is right. Playing Magic like John Avon. John Avon. That guy who sells like a bunch of... Is that like related to Avon products? I'm trying to think if I even know who that is. He didn't attack. Makes sense. He's got a lot of lands in that deck too. He's probably in a similar boat. Wow. I didn't know he still ran that. Making him pay right now keeps him off a loot. Card could be better later, though. Yeah. Not worth it. If he taps out to loot, that's probably fine. Although then I'd wish this was a complete disregard. I also have 4 solutions to a tutelage. I have 3 cubs and a solemn offering. And so far we've just done a little cub bump early in the game. So now it's really on me to get something to push through here, but if I just overextend, I'm just going to suffer for it. There's the loot. If this were a complete disregard, the split is 1 Reef Soul, 2 complete disregard. If this were a complete disregard, I'd be so happy right now. There's the offering. There's a cub. Yeah, pretty brutal. Let's see what happens here. So he draws 2 of those right off the top, in what was otherwise a pretty good stalemate. So, definitely not... the deck just is not persevering, and it's certainly not, punching through. It hasn't been able to answer all the cards that our opponents have played, and it hasn't been able to take enough initiative of its own either. Interesting. How do I... Up to 3, and we can make him blow 2 of them, but I'm gonna... It's really tempting to get more just aggressive about everything here, but I really think I need to find a spot like I had last turn. Try to make a hole for myself here. I don't have a lot of time, but I think I have to be more patient. Trying to force this is not going to end well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 5 plus 2 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to lead with this. I will say this, I think that Gemini's Esper list is better than the one that I was sent from playing it a lot. And I don't think that's I don't think I'm being biased or anything. Like, what did he target this? What the heck? He lets it resolve. Disperse? Disperse. Do I make him spend more mana? I can. Only one, though. It doesn't take him off a loot. But it exiles a card. No, I don't think that's gonna be the answer. I think there's a much better thing I could do. Okay. Tap down. 1. Let's tap this. Hey, come on. Why can't I tap this for mana? Why can't I tap this for mana? What the... Stainless! Why can't I do it? And now I reveal my hand. That was really lame. And that's really a shame because what I wanted to do was complete disregard his shambling vent. That's really a shame. Yeah, Nighthawk, the deck is doing a fantastic job drawing exactly what I need one turn late. That is for sure. Interesting. He's going to go after Ob, but he knows I have complete disregard, so he's going to dispel it. Or shrivel it. So do I do it at all? He goes up to 12. I can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if this resolves, I win. If he does anything about it, it puts off Disciple for another turn. So either way, I go for this. Even though I'm sure he's going to stop it. Oh my. Okay. So now all I need to do is draw a way around Disciple. Assuming he recasts it. He's got to recast something. Planar Outburst. I'm short 2. Wow. He saw the complete disregard. Maybe he did me the solid of pretending like he didn't. There's Disciple. Need to draw an out. Now, this is one of those cases. So, you know, my library is in question. So how many outs do I have that I can draw to Disciple? Planar Outburst would be lethal. They're both gone. 2 complete disregard and 1 Reave Soul. So 1 complete disregard is still in the deck. I don't think anything else gets Disciple out of the way this turn. If I draw it, I win the game. It's a 1 in 17 chance, and we are getting milled, so each card I take out of my deck is a factor, but I think we do this anyway, because we may need the destroy target creature next turn. Inspiration. See? Now we're getting dicey. Now we're getting dicey. If that's a 10 mana play. I don't have the mana to activate Shambling Vents and awaken counter my own inspiration. But I think we take the 2 for shot right now. He's tapped out anyway. Well, that will at least solve the problem. But not if I tap anymore. So here we go. And we're looking really good. He's going to have a pretty amazing turn to mill us out completely. Or he just has to hit a huge clump of spells, which is probably there. There's probably a combination of cards that does that, considering that we've drawn most of our lands. What does Obnix let him do? Lets him draw another card. So, we're just... I don't think there's anything he can do that punishes us more with 3 mana. So we'll show him that. Languish wouldn't save him. Not much would. We are going to power these up. He could have 1 Celestial Flare, so that means this would be lethal. I'm just going to do this anyway. He could have a Disperse for one of the Thopter tokens, so it's not like we're outless. Or he's outless. And we'll tick this up too, but now it should be over. And now I'm the one playing with my food, but I can't imagine ways that he could get out of it. Alright. Managed to take that one. Oh, misplay galore, huh, Gemini? What was it? What did you do? Can you do one more? Can you do one more game, Gemini? It would be my 10th game, and it would be the last one I need to do with this deck. Let me see.